Good morning and welcome to Food for Thought. Today, we are discussing a very important and sometimes difficult question. Should governments have a say in what we eat? This question touches on two big ideas: the need to keep our society healthy and our personal right to make our own choices. To help us understand this complex topic, we have two excellent guests with us today. On one side, arguing for government action, is Dr. Ben Carter. He is a public health doctor who sees the effects of diet on our health every day. Welcome to the show, Dr. Carter.
Thank you for having me, Sarah. It's a pleasure to be here.
And on the other side, we have Maria Rossi. She's a small restaurant owner who believes in the freedom to choose. She's worried about the negative effects that government control could have on small businesses and our food culture. Welcome, Maria.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be here to discuss this.
We'll begin with opening statements from each of our guests. After that, we'll have a discussion and then hear their final thoughts. Dr. Carter, let's start with you. You have the floor.
Thank you, Sarah. I want to start by talking about a very serious problem that we're all facing as a country. Every day in our hospitals and clinics, my colleagues and I see more and more people who are suffering from illnesses. These are illnesses that are directly connected to poor diets. I'm talking about conditions like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and high blood pressure, which are becoming far too common. These are not small or insignificant problems. They represent a major public health crisis that affects millions of lives, puts a strain on families, and reduces the quality of life for so many people. This health crisis also has a huge economic impact that affects every single one of us. When people are sick, they often can't work, which affects our economy. They also need medical care, and this care is becoming more and more expensive. Our national healthcare system has to pay for these costs. That money for the healthcare system comes from all of us, through the taxes we pay. So a person's poor diet isn't just a personal issue. It's a problem that creates a heavy financial burden for our entire society. Now, when I use the term government control, I want to be very clear about what I mean. I'm not suggesting that politicians should create a law that tells you what you must eat for dinner tonight. That's not a realistic or desirable goal. I'm talking about sensible, proven, and effective policies that help to create a healthier food environment for everyone. Let me give you a few practical examples of what this could look like. A small tax on sugary drinks is a very good first step. We have strong scientific evidence from around the world that these drinks are a major cause of obesity, particularly in our children. A small tax encourages drink companies to reformulate their products and reduce the sugar content. It also helps people to choose water or other healthier options more often. Another very important action is for the government to require clear food labels. People have a fundamental right to know exactly what's in the food they're buying for their families. Clear, simple labels on the front of food packages can show information like high in sugar or high in salt. This helps people make informed choices quickly and easily while they're busy shopping. Finally, we have a special responsibility to protect our children. We must pass laws to ensure that the food served in our schools is healthy and nutritious. Schools are where children learn, and we should use that opportunity to teach them good eating habits that will benefit them for their entire lives. These policies aren't about controlling people. They're about creating an environment where the healthy choice is the easy choice for everyone. It's about a government taking responsible action to protect its citizens' health.
Thank you, Dr. Carter. Now we turn to Maria Rossi for her opening statement.
Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and to offer a different perspective. I believe that this entire discussion is starting from the wrong place. For me, the most important principle we should be talking about is freedom. The freedom of choice. What a person decides to eat or drink is a deeply personal choice. It's one of the most basic decisions we make every single day. Adults should have the right to make their own decisions about their own bodies and their own lives. This is a fundamental freedom, and it shouldn't be limited or taken away by the government. I'm a small restaurant owner. My business is my life, and I've seen firsthand how these kinds of government rules can cause real and serious harm. If the government puts a high tax on a common ingredient like sugar or salt, or even bans certain types of oils, I might have to completely change my recipes. These aren't just any recipes. They're recipes that my grandmother taught me when I was a child. They're the recipes that my customers have loved and come back for year after year. Changing them isn't a simple or easy process. It costs a lot of money to find new suppliers, test new dishes, and reprint menus. It could even force a small, family-owned business like mine to close. We don't have the millions of dollars for research and development that the large, multinational food corporations have. These regulations often hurt small businesses the most. And this brings me to another very important point: our culture. Food isn't just fuel that we put in our bodies to keep them working. Food is about celebration, it's about family, it's about our history and traditions. The dishes I serve in my restaurant tell a story about my Italian heritage. They're a part of who I am and where my family comes from. Government rules that make certain traditional ingredients too expensive or difficult to find can threaten these important cultural traditions. They can make our food culture less diverse and less interesting. I agree completely with Dr. Carter that public health is important, but I strongly believe that the best answer is education, not regulation. We should invest more money and effort into teaching people, especially young children, about nutrition. We should teach them how to cook simple, healthy, and delicious meals at home from basic ingredients. Let's give people the information and the skills they need to live a healthy life. Then, we must trust them to make good decisions for themselves and for their families. So let's focus our energy on a positive approach of education and personal responsibility. Government control is a negative approach that limits our freedom and can have many unintended, damaging consequences.
Thank you both for those clear opening statements. Now, let's dig a little deeper into some of these points. Maria, I'll start with you. Dr. Carter mentioned the very high cost of healthcare, a cost that everyone in society shares. Is it really fair that society has to pay for the health problems that might be caused by individual food choices? Shouldn't the government try to reduce those costs for everyone?
That's a fair question, but I think it's too simple to say that only food causes these complex health problems. A person's health is influenced by many different factors. It also depends on how much they exercise, their stress levels at work and at home, their genetics, and whether they live in a neighborhood with safe places to walk or play. It's unfair to focus only on food and to punish people with taxes. These kinds of taxes, like a sugar tax, often hurt poor families the most. For a family with a low income, a few extra cents on a bottle of juice is a real problem. Instead of making unhealthy food more expensive, why don't we focus on making healthy food cheaper and more available for everyone? That would be a much better and fairer investment of government money.
Dr. Carter, let me turn to you. Maria has expressed strong concerns that government rules could damage cultural food traditions and hurt small businesses like hers. How can the government protect public health without causing these negative effects?
That's a very important and valid concern, and I want to address it directly. The goal of these public health policies isn't to ban traditional dishes or attack cultural foods. My own family has recipes passed down through generations that I love. The main target of these regulations is the highly processed, mass-produced food that now fills our supermarket shelves. These products are often scientifically designed by large corporations to have extremely high levels of sugar, salt, and unhealthy fats to make them addictive. Furthermore, we can and should support small businesses through this transition. The government could offer subsidies or grants to help small restaurants adapt. For example, by helping them buy healthier cooking oils in bulk, or by connecting them with local farmers for fresh ingredients. The goal is to work together with businesses, not against them.
Maria, I'd like to return to your suggestion about education. Is education truly enough? We've had nutrition education campaigns in this country for many years. But during that same time, the problems of obesity and diabetes have continued to grow worse. Does this not show that a stronger, more direct approach is needed?
I believe that our past education programs haven't been good enough. They've often been underfunded, boring, and not very effective. We need to do much more. And we need to be more creative. Also, the reason the problem is growing isn't just because of a lack of knowledge. People are working longer hours than ever before, they're more stressed, and they have less time and energy to cook at home. Fast food is popular because it's fast, and it's cheap. So the solution isn't to punish people for buying fast food. The solution is to address the bigger economic and social problems in our society that make it so difficult for people to live healthy lives in the first place.
A final question in this section for you, Dr. Carter. Many people listening might hear about government control and worry that this is a, quote, slippery slope. If the government starts by controlling sugar, what will it try to control next? Our coffee? Our cheese? Where does it stop?
I understand that fear of a slippery slope, but I think it's misplaced in this context. The government already plays a significant role in protecting public health in many other areas of our lives, and we accept these rules because we know they keep us safe. For example, we have laws that require all citizens to wear seatbelts in cars. We have laws that ban smoking in public places, like restaurants, airports, and offices. Both of these ideas were also very controversial when they were first introduced. People also said, where will it stop? But today, we understand that these laws save thousands of lives every year. Regulating unhealthy ingredients in mass-produced processed foods is a very similar and logical step. It's a specific, limited, and targeted action to address one of the biggest public health threats of our generation. It's not the beginning of total government control over our lives. It's a responsible and necessary step to protect the health of our community.
We're nearing the end of our discussion. I'd now like to ask each of you for a brief closing statement to summarize your position. Dr. Carter, you may go first.
Thank you. We face a clear choice in our society today. We can choose to do nothing and continue to watch our friends, family, and neighbors suffer and die from preventable diet-related diseases. Or we can choose to take sensible, small, and proven steps to build a healthier society for our children and grandchildren. This isn't about taking away freedom. It's about giving every person a better opportunity for a long, healthy, and productive life. Sensible policies like clear food labels, taxes on sugary drinks, and healthier school meals are a responsible and compassionate action for any government that truly cares about the well-being of its citizens.
Thank you, Dr. Carter. And now, your closing statement, Maria.
The proper role of a government in a free society is to protect our freedoms, not to control our personal lives. The answer to our modern health problems isn't more rules, more bureaucracy, and more taxes, which hurt the poor and small businesses. The real answer is better and more engaging education, more support for struggling families, and trusting individuals to make their own informed choices. Let's empower people with knowledge and resources, not limit them with regulations. The freedom to choose, including what we eat and how we live, is one of the most important values we have. It's a precious right, and it's too important to give away.
Thank you, Dr. Ben Carter, and thank you, Maria Rossi, for sharing your very different but equally passionate views with us today. You've given all of us a great deal to think about. The great responsibility of the government versus our fundamental right to choose. We hope this conversation helps you, our listeners, to form your own informed opinion on this important issue. Thank you for listening to Food